Whether searching for AAA open-world behemoths or indie darlings that use pixel art, PC players are spoiled for choice, with new games released daily on services such as Steam. And while they may not all be classics, there's never a shortage of great titles. So today on Game Rant, we're rounding up a few of our picks for the best offline games on PC. First is Alan Wake 2. Firmly falling within the survival horror genre, Alan Wake succeeds in creating a sustained sense of anxiety that a threat could be present around every corner. The game iconically uses light as a weapon, and in turn, nothing is scarier than the dark. Horizon Forbidden West delivers beautiful visuals, generally enjoyable combat that's only let down during human encounters, and a massive world that's just begging to be explored. 2 years after launching on the PS4 and PS5, Horizon Forbidden West made its way to PC courtesy of the Complete Edition, which includes the base game and the Burning Shores expansion. Another Sony game recently ported over to PC is Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, containing Uncharted 4 and a spin-off called The Lost Legacy. On their own, these are both fantastic action-adventure titles that have great stories, endearing characters, and above-average gameplay. But together, they provide quality and quantity. For the uninitiated, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a combat-driven RPG with great character customization courtesy of a robust classes system and a fairly wide assortment of weapons, armor, and magical abilities. There are plenty of good superhero games on PC, but for the longest time, it seemed like one of the best Spider-Man adventures was destined to remain on the PS4 forever. However, Insomniac Games' open-world epic eventually made the jump to computers, and the port is generally pretty good. Swinging across Manhattan is a joy, while the combat is fluid and stylish. Next is TMNT Shredder's Revenge. A throwback to beat-em-ups of yesteryear, Shredder's Revenge expertly combines nostalgia and modern innovations to deliver an experience that will satisfy longtime fans searching for the next Turtles in Time, and people dipping their toes into the genre for the very first time. Deep customization, a fully realized world, and flexible storytelling are just a few of Boulder Gates 3's strengths, and they're really just the tip of the iceberg. Utilizing a turn-based combat system, the game focuses on strategic and calculated play that rewards forward-thinking and big-picture tactics, all the while incorporating an element of luck as a reflection of its tabletop roots. Valve's Half-Life 2 is generally considered one of the best, if not the best, offline PC game of all time, launching all the way back in 2004. With Earth succumbing to a multi-dimensional force called the Combine, Gordon Freeman goes on a cross-country trip as part of humanity's resistance unit. Originally released on the PS4, Santa Monica's God of War finally made its way to PC in January of 2022. A soft reboot, this entry significantly alters the franchise's status quo, dropping Kratos in a new mythos while introducing a completely different style of combat. Historically, grand strategy games have struggled to balance accessibility with complexity, and if nothing else, Crusader Kings 3 balances this juggling act better than most of its peers. Dropped into the Middle Ages, players lead a family dynasty through multiple generations, a process that marries interpersonal drama along with political ambition. Nier Automata is the sequel to a niche spin-off of a relatively obscure franchise, Drakengard. And although familiarity with the previous entries can heighten the experience, Nier Automata stands mostly on its own, delivering an ambitious storyline that pits androids against alien robots. Set toward the end of North America's Wild West era, Red Dead Redemption 2 follows Arthur Morgan as he deals with the internal tension as part of the Vanderlyn gang. Boasting a gorgeous and detailed open world, the game is a technological marvel with very few peers in the gaming industry. And now for Hollow Knight. This bug-based Metroidvania features gorgeous visuals, punishing difficulty, and some of the most entertaining boss fights in recent memory. Even those who don't love side-scrolling adventures or platformers will find it hard to resist the charm that Team Cherry presents with Hollow Knight. Set right after the events of the second entry, Return to Monkey Island tweaks the point-and-click formula to create a package that stays true to the franchise's legacy while also adapting to modern expectations. Those looking for something a bit more relaxing than many of the high-octane hits found throughout this list can instead opt for Stardew Valley, an incredibly rich and detailed indie game that features a surprising amount of depth. In-game, you'll take over a dilapidated farm, working hard to restore it to its former glory and making friends along the way. Doom 2016 is perhaps the best attempt at reimagining the Doom franchise yet. The fast-paced combat combined with brutal kills is a first-person shooter game at its finest, with a single-player campaign that may be the highlight of the experience. Any fan of CRPG games owes it to themselves to give Disco Elysium a try. It's a well-crafted detective story that puts heavy emphasis on player choice and world building, exploring philosophical and social themes following a detective suffering from amnesia, investigating a murder, and trying to piece together their own backstory in the process. While online certainly adds another dimension to From Software's masterpiece, Elden Ring also offers an offline mode for those who prefer to focus solely on PvE. Packed to the brim with bosses, lore, weapons, and stunning vistas, Elden Ring is an early contender for the best game of the decade, garnering almost universal acclaim, receiving praise for its combat, exploration, and replayability. As a turn-based real-time strategy game, Civilization VI has few close competitors. Raising a civilization from the feudal ages to the modern era is too fun, and makes this game one that you don't want to miss. And lastly is the always classic Skyrim. Ultimately the most accessible and popular of the Elder Scrolls series, and has received a ton of new updates over the last decade. As far as fantasy RPGs are concerned, very few titles are as long-lasting and as addictive as this 2011 project. And that's it for our list. Thank you so much for watching, and go to GameRant.com for more like this.